And I do believe we are live now. So we are live. This is May 9th, 2024. And I'm really excited tonight about having a wonderful guest tonight. Her name is Krissie McBride. We've known each other now for some years now. We have some similar interests and our paths have crossed in many ways. This is the Mind and Mana channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Here we talk about issues around uh, financial independence. We talk about living life abroad, particularly in Mexico. We talk about the importance of centering the lives of Black women in midlife or who are thinking about midlife, women who are thinking about retirement or who are starting to plan for their retirement or who are at retirement age and have discovered, ooh, there's still some more things I need to put in place. Um, it's a wonderful time to be alive, and so those are the kind of things we talk about here. So if those things sound of interest to you, please do like, subscribe, comment, and let us know how you feel about being on here. But do come back and do subscribe. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sonia Falayon, and I am really just in love with life at this particular time. I do live in Mexico. I live in the Lakeside Chapala area, and I have a bed and breakfast establishment called Sojourners Vista del Lago here, Lakeside, Mexico. We are your soft landing for getting to know the Lakeside area here, and we are the soft landing for you. If you are not a part of our Facebook group next to the Sojourners, please ask to join. We'd love to have you. Again, we address the issues around what's going on around Lakeside, Mexico, issues about residency, legal issues, what life is like here. We're in May, and May is a month of celebrations and holidays. So, the other disclaimer that I have for these videos is this is Mexico. Mexico is a loud, boisterous, celebratory culture. And so you may hear some of that booming on in the background. You may hear a boom box. You may hear cars. You may hear motorcycles. You may hear all sorts of noises. Church bells is all a part of the mix. So with that being said, I want to take a moment now to introduce Krissie McBride. And I think the best way to do that is for Krissie, tell us something about yourself.
Hey, my people. Anybody that knows me knows that I love people. I am so glad to be on this platform today. Again, my name is Krissie McBride. I am an author, an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a wife of 28 years. And I have found ways to generate residual income that have helped me to help others. So that's one of the things that I love about Sonia. Just want to give a little bit back to her. She feels the same way that I feel about helping others to find their way. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe.
Thank you so much. It is just a pleasure to have you here. I am I'm really excited about having you here tonight because one of the things that's just fascinating to me about you is that you are an emergent science fiction writer. And I love that. We've talked a lot about Octavia Butler and other authors. And I think this is just a wonderful time for us to have a platform because our stories are so important. And the spin that we have on a story is so important. So I do want you to share some about the backstory of your new book. And I wanted to back up a little bit because I know that you came to Mexico earlier this year on a sojourn. We had a Money Mastermind Retreat. And I wanted to ask you what that experience was like for you. What were the surprises? And how did that experience help your creativity?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, we have to start from the beginning. That was not only my second flight in my lifetime, it was my first international trip. So that is major because I'm a person who I used to be so I'm claustrophobic, and so a lot of times my fears would overpower me, and I would not go anywhere or do anything so that I didn't cause problems or I didn't disrupt other people's life with my issues. But the invitation that was given provided me with the confidence that it's okay if something happens. You're not going to get kicked out of Mexico, right? If something happens, we'll deal with it, but you're going to be okay. And when I got on the plane, I was um, the best part is actually you can tell the transition in the airports, the difference between the American airports and the Mexican airports, because the way that they treated you and the way that they guided you, oh, they wanted you to know that we're here to take care of you. In America, it felt like, like, oh God, where am I going? Where am I going? You get lost in the crowd. But in Mexico, it was a lot more care, a lot more attention. And I really appreciated that. When we got there, we got a ride to our location. The gentleman was very professional. I didn't even really have an idea other than what things that I'd seen in television, which is not a great place to start because TV, some stuff is just designed to keep you from trying different things or going places. Even on my way, I was so excited, and I would tell people, and the first thing that they would say is, "Don't get stolen. Don't let, don't. You got to be careful down there. They kidnapping people." Um, but talking with Sonia and others, they just were like, it's people in the United States get stolen. Let's keep it real. But I also found out when I got there that they really take care of foreigners and Americans because of what we bring to their table, because we're an asset to them versus a problem, and they don't want to cause problems. So that was pleasant. The scenery. Oh my gosh, there were so many mountains. I was like, oh, what is that? I'm looking through the clouds and I'm seeing things. And I was just amazed at how big and beautiful the mountains were there. Because you don't really, I don't talk about mountains in Mexico, but believe me, there are lots of mountains in Mexico. They're beautiful. So I wasn't in a real touristy spot. We were in a, area where people really live day-to-day life, and pleasant. Everybody was pleasant, whether they spoke English or they didn't speak English. They were very accepting. It was very relaxed there. It wasn't a rush, 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 except for on the highway. But once you got where you were going, it was very laid back, very pleasant. And you had the opportunity to learn without feeling the pressures of what I got to do. What time is it? Oh, this is this time and this is that time. It didn't feel like that. It felt really laid back and relaxed. Very, very nice atmosphere.
We have a little bit of a tech lag on this broadcast, which happens sometimes when I'm using StreamYard. So I just wanted to I want to make sure that your screen is not frozen. Can you hear me okay right now, Krissie?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well. Yes. There are times where I can tell that you're not getting
Great.
what I'm saying until a little bit later, but I can definitely hear you and see you.
So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to press on. S- um, um, I read something that said that if you take a piece of paper and crumple it up and then unfold it, that's what the topography of Mexico was like, because it is mostly mountainous. Hear about that so much in school,
Yes, it was very,
you
very
know,
cool.
and we learn about, yeah, it's very, very mountainous, and there's very little timber. So people do magical things with cement and concrete and stone here.
Mm,
Um, I mean, because they have to. And what that translates into a lot of magic and wizardry in terms of construction, because they know how to work with cement and rebar here.
absolutely.
So there were obviously some surprises for you when you came.
Yes. Yes, the inside of the homes. I think
Okay.
you kind of prepped me for that a little bit as far as like the outside of the home. Like don't judge a book by its cover. That
So
was
can you hear me now, Krissie?
mm-hmm. Yes. Can you hear me? You're a little bit frozen.
I think we may be frozen.
I hear you.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I hear you talking. Are you able to hear me?
Let's try.
Oh no. Looks like I'm by myself. She should probably pop back in any moment. Technology. I tell you what, we all have been subjected to technology. Oh gosh. Let me see if she's. So while we're waiting for her to come back in, um, I was talking about the fact of when you were looking at the outside of homes or spaces, you really didn't see much from the outside. It didn't look all that grand. But once you walked in, oh my goodness, it was a. Hey, I was just talking while you were coming back in.
So it was frozen. Yeah, it was frozen on this side. So I said, well, let me just go back out and come in. It's an issue that I have sometimes with StreamYard. I never know when it's going to happen. But, thank goodness you were still here. So if you don't
Yeah.
mind, could you just repeat the last part of what you were saying?
Yes, I was saying how with some of the homes and the buildings, they didn't look like much from the outside. You'd walk in, and sometimes they were deep in there. I remember the restaurant that we went into. That place was humongous. It was a restaurant, but had a pool, and it had buildings back in the back. It had areas for you to sit down in, and you could sit on the outside. Even though you walked in, you still had access to the outside. That was amazing. The restaurant that we went on, um, I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was the restaurant that we went to where there was the festival, the wine and chocolate festival. That restaurant, when we went inside there, Another example, you walk in thinking that it's a restaurant, there are plants and vegetation everywhere. Like the scenery was amazing. So they focus a lot of their energy on the inside versus on the outside. So never judge a book by its cover. We've been told that before, but it really means something down in Mexico.
Yes, so it's we talk about, like you said, not judging a book by its cover, and your eyes have to adjust because there's a different kind of beauty, especially in these Pueblo towns. There's a lot of what can be a lot of bricks and brokenness, but also within that, there's so much art, and there's so much intention in terms of how things are built and how families come together. And like you said, um, the families keep the beauty for themselves. So there are some beautifully made doors and gates and all of those things, but you never know what's going to be behind those gates. And there's usually a
Absolutely.
lot of beauty courtyards, like you said, plants, vegetation, beautiful furniture. The architecture is really beautiful.
It is. It was. It was really, really beautiful. And speaking of the art, that was one of the
So,
bigger things.
so how would you how
You went out on me a little bit. Can you repeat
no, go
that?
ahead.
Um, what I was saying
I was
before
just
is
going to
that
ask you, how did your time fuel?
we're lagging, so we're
I know
crossing
we're
over.
talking over each other because of this lag. I'm so sorry.
So well, what I was gonna say is is not only about the something about the art on the outside, but something about the art on the inside, but the art on the outside. When we went down to I think it was Ajijic, that's where we were. We as we were walking, there were paintings, there were they decorated the light poles. That was just so interesting to me. There were tiles, beautifully made ceramic tiles. And it was also
Mhm.
surprising how people regarded us as a group of Black women. They were like so enthused to see us and they wanted to take pictures with us, but not in the creepy way. When I told my kids that, they were like, my mama. And I was like, well, it wasn't like we were baboons in a cage. It wasn't like that. It was more of a majestic type of, oh wow, asking us questions about who we were. They really cared about who we were. They weren't just saying, oh, there's our artifact, let me take a picture with it. They were asking us about being in the States. They were asking us about how we live. And this was in a short amount of time. You could feel the reverence that they had when they saw us. And that to me was, I was awestruck because at first I was like, they want to take a picture with me? What are you talking about? They don't know me. Who are these people? But it ended up being something, I think, that was very profound to all of us in the way that we were treated. We were treated with utmost respect at all times. And even though sometimes you guys know how it is where you try to make yourself smaller and try to make yourself fit in or be quiet, sometimes just to get out of people's way. We were invited to be there. We were invited to it felt good to be who we were and didn't have to change. That was also a very profound moment for me because we were asked multiple times for people to take pictures with us. And that was crazy. We're not even movie stars yet.
Yeah, I really like how you describe that because um, when you have to kind of be in tune to the vibration that people are giving you because sometimes it can be, um, kind of fetishy, or people are looking at us as oddities. But I also know that I know I can feel when people are really genuinely interested and want to know, and have a lot of reverence and respect. And that's really what we experienced while you were here. People were very, very, um, they were curious, but they were also very respectful and very admiring. Um, they
Absolutely.
gave a lot they gave you all a lot of compliments, and were genuinely interested in who you were, which I think is just so wonderful.
Yes.
How would you say, Chrissy, that your time away helped you with your creativity? I know that you're a writer. You've been a writer for a long time. How important is taking time away like that? How important is that for your creative process?
Um, I think it was very, very important because, as I said before, sometimes whenever there's a lot of rush, hurry, we get this done, we got to get that done. Your mind starts working and training on that. That's where you got to worry about the next thing. You got to worry, and I'm sorry if I sound like my house is in Mexico. I got children, um, but the the business of your mind, the business of the things going on, the dramas, the good things, the bad things, the things you got to do. Sometimes you get overwhelmed and dumped down and on a path of what you got to do. Focus on that. Taking that rest, taking that sojourn, that break, gave my mind a rest, and I was just able to focus on myself, who I am. I love the exercises that we did. It gave me a chance to build myself up, and to see other women do the same. We were able to think clearly. It wasn't clouded with what other people think. And I think that's one of the things that I was telling you, that I'm at a time in my life where I don't really um I don't have that much energy for what everybody else thinks of me. I know at this point in time in my life, I have to do what I have to do to make life better for me and my family. So I can't wait on anybody else to do it for me. I can't sit back and not do it because I'm afraid. And so, all of that was just a culmination. Being there, my mind just really got to take a break and ease itself, and I got to have pure thoughts and clear thoughts. It was very, very life changing for me.
That's beautiful, Chrissy. Can you tell us a little bit? Can you give us a little of the backstory of your current project, what you're writing, and let us know where you are on that journey right now?
Yes. So I've always been a writer. I've always written things, like never with a I shouldn't say it that way. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to rewind myself. I always had a purpose of writing things, but usually the purpose was for other people and other things. So I wrote plays for church. I wrote songs. My son raps. I wrote raps for my son. I wrote songs for other people. I wrote stories for school, projects. I actually did papers for a lot of college people that were in college. I would write their papers for them or help them write their papers or edit or whatever. So I always did something for everybody. And that was, the purpose. But this time, the purpose was so that I can just put myself out there. And I have a creative mind. I always have had that. I never want to do it. I never wanted to go on this path. If everybody's going on this path, I'm like, let me go this way. I just have always thought like that. And then I'm also trying to find a better way to do things, you know. So bear with me just a second. I apologize. We got a little dog and he thinks he's vicious. And so he's attacking my son. But he's gonna take him outside.
Okay.
He's just little. So anyways, okay, I'm so sorry for the distractions. Okay. So this book was made by me because I wanted to, just simply because I wanted to. I went into a class and that class told me to come up with your talent. What is your talent? What is your God-given talent? And how are you using your God-given talent? And I was like, I have talents, but is this, is this really it? But it just clicked. Like, you write. You can write. Your stories are amazing. When I do a play, like, people go crazy. People laugh when I want them to laugh. They cry when I want them to cry. I'm like, you can write. So why are you not writing? And then this story came about. The premise also is that finances are important to me. And even though this book is a fiction story, I make sure that it gives some insight to finances. This book is, we call it sci-fi because it's actually got some time travel in it. And I've seen some stuff attempted to be done, but never in the way that I am doing it. Once again, that different path. I want to just do it differently. And then the other part about it is that I don't think that there's enough example of Black unconditional love without the drama. A lot of times the drama comes within. To me, I didn't want the drama within because some relationships are not drama filled. They have struggles, they have wars that they have to fight, but it doesn't mean that he has to be a cheater or she has to be a gold digger. I don't. That's not the story that I wanted to tell about Black love.
That's not the story that you want to tell.
Not the drama filled and the guy that cheats and the woman who's a gold digger and that sort of thing. I want to show strength. I wanted to show that we can love unconditionally, that even though things may be happening to us, we love hard, we love with passion, and our love can even stand the test of time. Our love can weather any storm if we love hard enough. So
Mm-hmm. Now this is not your first book. This is not your first book.
it's not. It's not.
You've had this is not your
Nope. It's not.
yeah.
The first book that I wrote, it was actually a book with other authors. It was for other
So can you talk a little bit about the time travel can you talk
Yes, absolutely.
can you talk a little bit about the time travel aspect of your story?
Yes. So, okay, we're going back to finances. One thing that I have noticed, or something that was said to me that has always stuck with me, was a statement that said, I can't remember at this time who said it, but if you take the American people and you compare their income and their status in the United States to that status of whenever slavery ended, we still hold the same amount of wealth and assets. That's kind of deep because if in 1865 we gained our freedom, um, why is it that we owned 1% of the wealth of the United States then, and we're still about 1 or 1.5% of the wealth in this day and age? What causes that to stay the same? So the story is really taking my characters back into slavery days, back into the time where the horriblest time for us, but for them to see where they are in, you know, modern days and compare it and see how similar it is to slavery days. Um, it means something because something has to change because something didn't change whenever it was supposed to. So we have to start changing things so that our dollars equal more than what they equal at the time that I wrote the book. So this story, again, is fictional, but if you really put yourself in that place of living in slavery times, the comparisons are off the chart of how similar things are now compared to what they were then. We're just picking the cars and picking the house. We're picking the mode of transportation and we're picking the home. But what more are we able to take care of? We still trying to figure out putting the food on the table. We still try to figure out um, clothes on our backs. You know, these things were given to us back in those time, back in that time period, and it felt like we worked. I mean, it wasn't felt. We worked for nothing. We literally worked for room, board, food, and clothing. What you work for today. So that's really where the time travel comes from, is to give a comparison um, of what life was like then compared to what life is like now, just to open up some eyes.
I really love that, because there are some comparisons to be made. The whole concept of reparations, the whole concept of how we reclaim the wealth that was given away or that was stolen. You know, the trauma as a result of that. That's still a part of many of our communities. Uh, it's an amazing topic that has so much depth. I really would like to have another conversation about this. I'm going to use another platform where we're not, kind of coming in and out as we are. Not much I can really do about what's happening with StreamYard at this time. We have we have what am I trying to say? Our optics and our fiber optics here are really high. So this is a systemic issue that I'm just going to have to address. But I do think this is an amazing topic that we can talk about some more. I think it's very important, and I really love your take on it. I think it's very timely. It's important, and I really love your enthusiasm. Are a part of the same financial success team. So residual income is important, and the whole talk about finances in our community is just extremely important. And I
Absolutely.
think that you're finding a really an engaging way to for people to have conversation, to begin to look at the issue in another way. Uh, time travel. I mean, I think it's awesome. So I really commend you for, for being a forward thinker and addressing an issue that's really important and timely in our community and in the world community.
Yes, it is.
When do you think your book will be able to come out? When do you think we'll be able to get our hands on your book?
I know that it won't be long. We were planning a launch on a certain day, but I'm learning that it's not always what we want. I think we've all have had those experiences. There was some errors, and my editors went back in. They found them. They were like, "Okay, we need to make sure that everything is good. We're going to go through with the fine tooth comb." And I'd rather do that because I want a great product. I don't want something where people get caught up on misspelled words or typos versus what the book is about, because people can get distracted by things like that. So I really would say that it will be soon. I don't want to say an exact date because that kind of hurt my feelings that I said an exact date and I couldn't come through, because I do try to do what I say I'm going to do. And I don't try, I do what I say I'm going to do. And so when that didn't happen for me, I wasn't happy, but at the same time, I'm I am cool enough to know that the product, the book is written, it's already done. So it's just this is the finishing touches. And as you said before, I wrote a book before, and it wasn't perfect. It never, nothing's ever perfect, but it wasn't um, to my liking. And so I really wanted that to be the difference between the last book and this book. So, but anybody that wants to pre-order still can. My website is up. It is Krissie McBride, theauthor.com. So my name is spelled Krissie, and it's all the rest of it is together. I'm sorry, I am telling a story. It's Krissie McBride, but you have to have a dash. Krissie McBride dash theauthor.com. If we is there a place, can we put it in the chat so that it will be on the
Okay.
screen? Let's do that. I'll put it in the comments. Let's see here.
Let's see if I can put it on the screen. Let me see if I can do that. Hang on, let me
Okay.
try. Okay, let me try to do it here.
Okay.
Okay. Krissie McBride hyphen the
Dash.
author.
Yes. Yes. .com. And that will take you directly to the website, and you can actually um, pre-order. You can see
And
some
is
of the.
now does is author capitalized?
It doesn't
Is
matter.
author capitalized?
You can make it capital. It doesn't matter how it's, whether it's all lowercase or capital. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
That title is
Let's
mine. Long as it has that the hyphen in, like you said, Krissie McBride hyphen the author, and all of
okay,
that
let's
runs together. It'll get you to me. Let's see if I can see it.
okay, let's see. We should get it going here. Wow, it's just a slow connection. But let me see. Should be scrolling across. Do you see it on your side?
I haven't seen it yet, but I will absolutely keep looking out for it. That's awesome.
Okay. Krissie McBride hyphen theauthor.com. Krissie McBride hyphen theauthor.com. So I'm not sure why it's not going, but this whole thing is not going like I thought it was going to go. So we're just going to be flexible and
That's
promote
right.
it that way. So,
That's right. I think we said it enough times. And you can always replay. You can always hit the replay.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay.
I see it. I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for spending some time with me this evening. Okay, good. There it is. Okay. Oh gosh, I didn't capitalize it.
It's okay. It should.
Let me
Let
see
me
if I
copy
can
and
edit
paste.
it. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, Thank you again so much. We're going to do this again where we're not going to be interrupted. I'll probably use another platform until I figure out what's going on with. I love this platform though because it just allows me to do so much, but there have been some transmission issues. So, we'll just keep working. But I'm looking forward to the next conversation. I'm looking forward to your book whenever it comes out because I know it's going to be soon. And I also love the fact that you wanted to kind of take things in a different direction with this particular book than the first book that you had, the first book I thought was wonderful. So, I love the fact that we're always improving and always finding new ways to do things better. But I'm really excited about it. And I wish you the best in it. And I'm
Thank you.
looking forward to you coming back to visit us again in Mexico. I have to also say that I have to thank you because uh, for those of you who don't know, Chrissy and her group were our test guests for our bed and breakfast. So they were the first guests that we ever had. So they helped us a lot to do some troubleshooting and quality assurance. So thank you
Yeah,
so very much.
it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. You guys made it easy. You
All
made
right.
something
So
that
we will
could
talk
have
again.
been.
Well, it's hot down here now. May is the hottest month, Chrissy, down here. So I'm not having wine. I'm having electrolyte to keep my electrolytes together.
Yes.
But our fountain is up now at the B&B. So if you come in hot weather, you can stick your feet in the fountain.
Cool it off. Yes.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. Now it may take a moment to end this, so just hold tight.